Hey everybody, so we're actually in Jonestown, Pennsylvania, right here at Jonestown Elementary. There's a small cemetery that's here. It was a Union meeting house originally. I have to say thanks to Jack Mule Skinner. He contacted me about this really neat little cemetery. I was planning on coming here a couple different times and it just didn't work out. First time the camera was going kaflooey, and the last couple days when I was thinking about stopping back out here, is just so brutally cold. I was like, nope. So I want to say, Jack Mule Skinner, thank you. Maybe you have more information on this as well, because you're very involved with finding the grave. This was a Union meeting house. What exactly that was, Dunkard Brethren, United Brethren, sort of like Wenger's Meeting Hall. Usually when they were called that, they were somehow like some form of Mennonite or denomination along those lines. You know, more plain people in that regard. This cemetery used to be, I think, a little bit bigger, and it used to be more out that direction, but they wanted to expand their playground, so all the stones got moved. Whether the people got reinterred or not, I don't know. The church was here somewhere on location, but obviously it's been long gone. So it is technically an abandoned cemetery, but it is maintained by the township very well. So we're going to take a look at these stones a little closer. And they do have a monument over there that has the listing of everybody that is buried here. So there are a couple stones that are sort of laying down. This is very cool. You see the crown there. Peter Grumbine, born 1805, died 1881. I'm thinking of, no, there's another one over here near her as well. It was a meeting house. I think that's the one I'm thinking of, so I'm not going to share that information until I get over there and then look at to find a grave again. But there is another one. A lot of these, like Union meeting houses, especially for, you know, these smaller congregations, just over time. This is Elizabeth, wife of Jacob Bordelman. Almost looks like she was 1821 to 18, almost looks like 1881. Might be something else there. I can't really bend right now. We just worked last night. It went well, but I pinched something in my shoulder and my neck, and my back's sort of not all there. There's actually quite a few more stones here than I remember when I came up here the last time. A lot of them are laying down. There are a couple upright. There's a William A. Ristenbat, and then Emmeline W., wife of William Ristenbat. And he was, William Ristenbat was, fought in the Civil War. There's Shirk is one of the many spellings of Shirk. We want to go over to Shirksville Church as well. There's another stone that's mainly covered already right underneath these pine trees, so you get a lot of stuff like that. Let's go over here just quick. This is obviously a much newer stone. Another guy who fought in the Civil War, George Howard, 50 or 93rd PA Infantry, 1828 to 1882. There's a Spittler. And I think that's a Spittler in memory of Lewis A. Spittler. And here's the memorial stone that they did put up for this. June 18, 1991, these individuals, they were reinterred at this site. Peter Grumbine, Ida J. Howard, wife of John George Howard, which we just looked at this stone. Catherine Howard, wife of George J. Baldwin, Sarah Shirk, Emmeline Ristenbat, Louis Spittler, Solomon Spittler, Cyrus J. Gingrich, Solomon Tobias, and Maria Tobias. And there's another Ristenbat there. So they don't have all the names here unless there's some on the back. That sometimes happens. Nope. They even have like a Revolutionary War thing there. So now these are some of the older stones here. Some of them are broken off. But I don't think they have all the names because I think there's like 17 people total that are buried here. There's a David Stout. And then some of these other old stones here, and then this memorial. Elizabeth Tobias. So yeah, so this is another, was you just coming into Jonestown, be from the south, this little cemetery sits here and you wouldn't, know that there's Father Solomon W. Tobias on the other side. But this was moved from wherever it was over there, and however long the cemetery was there, a lot of times those churches he saw, like say in the 1870s, 1880s, because I mean, you think about it, the Civil War really changed a lot of communities, sort of like in England in World War I. And a lot of the guys, so many men got killed that you had almost a whole generation that was wiped out. And war has a habit of doing that. So then you have these things that you wouldn't think of. Communities are obviously changed, families are inalterably changed, but you'd also have a lot of the churches, the small different community centers would be changed as well, because after 20-30 years afterwards, as your older congregation starts to pass away, you don't really have a younger population to replace them. So it really is, it's not always, you see with these places, it's not always that the young people move on and don't continue in that church. Sometimes it's just something as simple as a war came along and the younger population was wiped out. It's another example of the ugliness of war. Now, whether that was the case here or not, because if they were like Mennonite, a lot of times, those different parts of the denomination were pacifists and didn't fight. But whatever happened, the church, probably 1880s, 1890s, shut down. And then, the building was torn down, and eventually congregation gave up and joined another congregation. And it's just sort of how it works. We see that today. Yeah, we talked about that with like Union Salem, that it's an unfortunate thing. It's these different centers of our communities eventually shut down, and this is another example. So this is a Union meeting hall, whatever that was the union of, our meeting hall of whoever it was. This is their small cemetery, which is, they say abandoned, but it isn't actually abandoned. The township takes care of this cemetery. It's just a shame, like the stones are all laying down, but there's only so much you can do. It's almost, in some ways, it's almost better to let them laying down, because they're probably so fragile at this stage that if you tried to stand them up again, they'd break. So thank you once again, guys, for coming along on another little adventure where we check out a new cemetery. I want to say thank you to Pat. They just sent me something that's really cool on the Eisenhower family, and it was talking about some of the chemicals that were used in a couple of those cemeteries like Wingers that we were just at, and then that upper cemetery at Beanoggles, what was potentially used. And it is pretty cool, because a number of the people that are involved with the Find a Grave have been reaching out, and some of them have been fans of the channel since the get-go. But I'm hoping, there's one I talked about, the cemetery that we are going to visit, that I'm hoping is a new one that isn't actually on there, so I'll be able to pass that on to them, and then one of them can go out there and take care of that and get that on the listing. So thanks again as always, and we will see you all about town.
Hey, I just want to say thank you for watching the video. If you could please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, that would be great. And we also have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a Patreon. There are ways of contacting us at thehometownhistorian@gmail.com, and also via mail at P.O. Box 143, Annville, Pennsylvania 17003. All that information is on the descriptions of each video and also in the about for the channel. So thank you once again, and we'll see you all about town.